Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Thanks for joining us today on Business Ninjas. We're excited to learn more about the company and your positioning. And you know, our previous conversation was very eye-opening to me. So I'm excited for our listeners here and for your viewers to be able to learn more about what you're doing and how you're helping people solve kind of this lurking problem they may not know they have. So why don't we start by, just introducing the company, let them know where the website is and where you're headquartered.
Yeah, so the company is ReadyWhen. Our website is ReadyWhen.com. We are also branching to a new company called GoVeance. It's GoVeance.com. We haven't officially launched yet, but you can join the wait list and you can learn more about GoVeance. It's focused on B2B for notaries. But what we're going to talk about today is ReadyWhen, which is the product that is available and it's useful for everyone, not just professionals. And the company, well, we are across the country. Most of us are in British Columbia, where the headquarters is, but the marketing side of the company, which is composed by myself and Sachin, one of the founders, we are in Ontario.
Okay. Great. And why don't you let everybody know what the sort of the elevator pitch for the company is and the problem that you're helping everybody address?
Yeah, sure. So I guess the elevator pitch is usually shorter than what I'm going to, the time that I'm going to spend on it. But I like to talk about ReadyWhen from the perspective of someone that didn't even know what state planning was, which was my case. Right? I'm not from Canada, I'm from Brazil. So the concept of state planning is something new for me. But even as I've been talking to Canadians, for them, it's kind of a murky subject. They don't really know a lot about what's under the state planning umbrella. So the elevator pitch for ReadyWhen would be something like ReadyWhen is a digital legacy management software that will assist you as you proactively build, manage, and share your state plan. So that's the two-line pitch. But what is under it is that for everything that you need to build and store under your state plan, ReadyWhen has something to help. So if you're talking about your will or your information about your assets, doctor prescriptions, doctor information, digital accounts, Bitcoin, NFT, everything that you want to store, that you need to store for your estate plan, even things that you usually won't think about, but messages for your loved ones, your wishes for when you pass. And even this has a specific section under our software. And obviously, we've been improving it and adding things, functionalities to it. But again, long story short, is a software that has everything you need to build your estate plan. And the good thing that you can also find there is that not only you have a place to store everything that you need, but you can also allow professionals or loved ones to have access to what you've created, not just when you're creating it, but also after you pass. So you can add a lawyer, your lawyer, to your team or your spouse, and you can define what they can see. So again, it's a platform that not only helps you build your estate plan, but also allows you to give access to people that will support you in the process.
Interesting. Wow. And so as people are kind of going through this process, are you kind of guiding them through and saying, okay, here's a common list of things that you probably need to take care of and help structure their approach to this?
We are actually improving our checklists of things that are important for you, because it will change from person to person, right? So if you are younger and you're just starting to build a estate plan, you might not have a lot of things. You might not have a house yet. right? Maybe you just have a car, or you just have a couple of bank accounts that you want to add information about into the platform, or even if you have a stamp collection, doesn't matter. The point is, as you get older, in theory, you get more stuff. And that means that your estate plan will be a little more complex. So we will help you out, letting you know where everything needs to be placed and the best way to organize your estate plan in the platform. But it's pretty intuitive. So it's easy to figure out once you have acquired, let's say, a house, where you used to save all the important files related to the house into the platform. So yes, we do provide an onboarding tool, and we do have support. We have webinars, we have a telephone and an email that you can use to reach out to a support team. But again, it's pretty intuitive, so you shouldn't even need anyone to help you out.
Nice. And I'm guessing the origin story around the company is pretty interesting. So maybe you could share a little bit about how you and the team came up with the idea to address this challenge.
Yeah, no, I joined the company. I was one of the first employees, but the company was already up and running. But the story started with two of the founders, Gavin, which manages all the development side, joined the company a little bit later. But the two original founders, Sachin and Jesse, started talking about it right before the pandemic, actually, in December 2019. So Jesse had been working as a notary in BC for many years, over 15 years. And through his position, he was helping families in BC to create different types of legal documents, including estate planning. And through his experience, he figured out that the whole estate planning process had a lot of issues, right? It was pretty bureaucratic. There were a lot of steps that you needed to take. It was hard to organize things into a single place. So he saw an opportunity to provide users with a solution to those problems. And once he started talking about his experience with Sachin, which was the second founder, the current CMO, Sachin saw that it was a great opportunity, it was an interesting problem to solve. And Sachin had personal experience with estate planning. He lost both of his parents under 3 years. So he was unfortunately faced with all the issues that come with a lack of estate planning. So that's why I was mentioning before we started that this product is good even if you're young and you're not creating your estate plan, but you have parents and they need help with theirs. Because Sachin saw firsthand what happens when a person passes without having things planned. So again, because of his experience in a few minutes of conversations with Jesse about the subject, he realized that they were onto something. So they reached out to Gavin and they started building the platform. And now, almost 2 years later, we are in a pretty different place. But the problem we're trying to solve is still the same.
Yeah, I bet. And so you launched right before the pandemic. So what was that journey like? That must have been a wild episode to try and navigate through.
Yeah, I mean, for both Jason and Sachin and Gavin, it was definitely a scary moment, right? No one knew how long the pandemic would last or the impact that it would have, not just in the economy, but also in user behavior. But I think that in a way, forced them to learn how to work together, being apart, which I think it's one of the strengths that we have as a company. As I said, we have people working from different parts of the country, and I haven't met some of my colleagues, and I've been with the company for almost 2 years.
Right.
But that didn't prevent us from getting things up and running. So it was a challenge, but I think it created some of the strengths that the company has. And also, I think that going through the pandemic, a lot of people starting to think about death, and that it can come at any moment, and what do we need to do to be prepared for when it comes. So you can see data, and I won't quote specific data from Canada, but across the world, we did some research, and there was a relevant increase in the amount of wills created and things of that nature, because again, everyone started thinking about what could happen,
Right.
and realized that they were not prepared for it.
Yeah, I think when you dig into the details, right? When we had our initial conversation, I started thinking through what I have done versus what I should have done, and the amount of stuff that I had never even thought of was kind of shocking. And that makes me curious to figure out how you were able to structure your solution in a way that brings in professionals that maybe people would be leveraging, whether they're lawyers or notaries or financial planners or whatever. I mean, that seems like a great way to not have it just on an individual consumer's, um, you know, lack of knowledge to have them just kind of struggling around. So how, maybe talk a little bit about how you were able to design that in and pull in some of the professionals that can help structure this for people.
Yeah, and actually, it touches a little bit in not just how we make money, but also in the way that the team was developed. So we kind of have two different clients, right? The product's still the same. There are some differences if you are a company that is using the platform for your clients, or if you are an end customer like yourself and you're getting to ReadyWhen.com and signing up for yourself. There are a few differences. There are a bit more features if you're going to have access to a bit more features if you are a company buying for your clients, because again, you need to see everything from a single source. So there are a few differences, but the features are, other than that, they remain the same. The solution remains the same. But as I was saying, we have two clients, right? So if you're a company, let's say you are a notary, and you have to frequently, or a lawyer, you have to frequently send documents to your clients or receive documents from your clients, and those clients will often not know where those documents need to be stored, or they will just not store them at all. So anyway, if you are a notary or a lawyer, you can use the portal, which is the part of our software that is focused on B2B, to manage the accounts that you're buying for your clients. So let's say that I'm a lawyer and I will tell you, hey, Jamie, I'm giving you 1 year of ReadyWhen. We're sharing a few documents through the platform. You can access the platform and you will find your documents there, right? So it's good for the professionals to have that place where they can safely store the documents that they're going to share with their clients. And it's good for their clients because it creates a stronger bond between them and the companies, and because it's also a pretty useful tool. And the same thing goes for financial planners, right? So I can tell you as your financial planner, hey, Jamie, that new investment that we made in stocks. The details I put together in the document that I have shared with you through ReadyWhen. Or you will do the same and you will tell your financial planner where to find it. And as a team member, he will be able to see it, or she. Now, again, you can also yourself go to the platform and sign up by yourself without the assistance of anyone or any other professional. So we've divided our teams to cover those two ends to make sure that both companies and clients were supported. So again, that's we've been trying since day one to make sure that regardless of where you're coming from, you have everything you need to set yourself up for success.
That's great. That's fantastic. And so, how are you reaching out to let everybody know what you've got available here? Because it's literally something everybody needs, right? Everybody's going to face this challenge, and maybe multiple times, maybe for multiple loved ones that they have to help get organized or something like that. So, what's your current strategy for reaching out to folks, and where can they
Definitely.
find you?
Yeah, so again, because we have two main core audiences, we do have a sales team that is frequently reaching out to potential customers and letting the companies know how ReadyWhen can be used to support their clients.
Yep.
but we also have marketing efforts focused on the end customer like you and I, right?
Right.
And the challenge that we had when we started building our marketing strategy was this is a subject that even though everyone needs, people just don't want to think about.
For sure. Yeah.
I have a 95-year-old grandfather, and every time I talk to my sister about his age and his health, she's like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, he's 95. How long are you going to wait to start talking about it? So people don't want to talk about death, the death of their loved ones or their own death, and they don't want to plan for what's going to happen when that comes. So that's the challenge. How do you communicate that you're offering something that is important when that something is something that people don't want to talk about? So we try to be very humane and to remind people that we sympathize. We know that this is something that we don't want to talk about. That the whole process of creating your estate plan can be boring and it takes a while. So we understand all of that, but we cannot pretend that this is not something you need to do, because not doing will be much worse.
Right.
If you don't deal with that now, the problems you're going to face when something happens, they are going to be way worse than you can imagine. So it's hard to find a balance between the urgency that we need to communicate and the lightness that we have to bring to such a delicate subject. But we've been trying to do that in a way, and I think that we've been fairly successful so far.
Great. All right. And where can people find you on social media? Are there certain channels that you're more active on?
Yeah, so we because we have such a broad audience, we are in the most popular platforms. We are on Facebook, on Instagram, we are on LinkedIn with ReadyWhen, with GoVayance, which is the new company that we're building that will launch soon. We're only on LinkedIn right now because, as I said, it's 100% B2B focused. But again, at ReadyWhen.com, if we are always posting content, because we know that even if it's something that we kind of understand what it is, there's a lot about estate planning that people want to learn more about. So we're frequently posting new articles there to educate people about what estate planning is and how to plan ahead for the future.
Great. All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm sure everybody's learned a lot about what they should be doing to take care of this. I certainly did. So thanks again. We appreciate it.
Thank you. My pleasure.